Hey, Tom, good to see you. Today we are talking Secure Act 2.0 and what it could mean for your retirement accounts. As you know, Secure Act 2.0 passed the House with overwhelming bipartisan support. It does have many provisions in it, but I want to touch on the changes that are proposed to the 401k. Tell me about those.
Sure. There's a one big one that I think may help people, which is currently any corporate contributions have to go into the traditional side, which is pre-tax. One of the things they're talking about is allowing for matched contributions to go into the Roth side of the 401k if your 401k provider has that option in your plan. Who is that going to help? Well, it's going to help someone who believes that tax rates are going to be higher in the future. You can get the tax out of the way today, and then you can start collecting your retirement dollars tax-free when you're ready to start collecting them, provided you're old enough and fall within those guidelines. We have to remember, though, that when someone creates a problem and then creates the solution to the problem, the solution typically is not in our best interest.
And I think that leads well into another proposed change, which would be to increase the starting age for required minimum distributions to 73 in 2022 and kind of staggering it then on after. Who does this help?
Well, it helps people who are right now being forced to take required minimum distributions that don't need them. There are still people who have pensions, and for some people in different parts of the country, maybe their Social Security benefits are more than enough to take care of their basic living needs, and they only need a little bit of money here and there. So for that person or those people, that's going to help those folks because they'll be able to extend when they have to start taking money from those accounts. Again, the government solution really is to the government's benefit because the government knows, and they back this up with the Congressional Budget Office reports, that they're going to be charging us more in taxes in the future. Right now, the number is about 30% within 5 years. So they're saying that our tax obligation is going to increase by 30% in the next 5 years. So with that said, the government also hopes that your account is going to be much larger in the future because you were abstaining from taking money. And so now your pot continues to grow and compound. And there's going to be a larger pot to tax at a higher tax rate.
All right, well, let's stay on the topic of those RMDs because they will also affect beneficiaries when they inherit accounts. And this gets a little bit complicated, Tom, but can you just break this one down, please?
Yeah, this is a little tough to go through in detail with our shorter time frame. But basically, they've created 3 different beneficiary designations. One's eligible, non-eligible, and then non-designated. The 2 main ones that people are concerned about are eligible designated beneficiary, which is typically starts with your spouse. Then you have minor child, disabled persons, certain trusts, someone more than 10 years younger. So these are people that should or may be able to continue with the more traditional stretch IRA once at least for some point in time, the stretch IRA that we've been used to for so many years, where they have to take required minimum distributions, but that account may not have to be emptied in a certain period of time. Then they've created the non-eligible, which are typically your children, grandchildren, so non-spouse beneficiaries, certain types of trusts. And then depending on when or if an account owner has started taking their required minimum distributions. So now they have a 10-year rule where for some people that they may not, once they inherit those assets, those accounts, they don't have to take required minimum distributions like in a stretch IRA, but that account has to be emptied within 10 years. So one of the big issues or one of the big questions right now, we just got an Ed Slott update. And in that update, there are some questions about the IRS possibly forcing certain beneficiaries to do both, which is to take a required minimum distribution and have that account emptied over 10 years. So that we're waiting for some further guidance on that. That could be a big deal for people. So that is something that people should be talking to their advisors about. If you don't have an Ed Slott advisor, you should probably find one. We here at International Financial R have been since the beginning. And I have Ed Slott on my speed dial. So if I ever have a question, all I have to do is pick up my phone and call them.
Yeah. No, I mean, that has huge implications, tax and otherwise. So,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
yeah, that's such an important conversation to have. You are right. So, Tom, if somebody would like to have that conversation with you, what's the best way to reach you?
By email and by phone. 973-394-0623 is the direct line to the office. And then TJ O'Connell at internationalfinancial.com. And I will do my best to get back to you as quickly as possible. As we say every week, I'm happy to answer questions. I'm happy to help people. That's my mission. So please, if you have questions, concerns, you need a second opinion, feel free to reach out.
That's awesome. All right, Tom, thank you.
Thanks, Erin.